Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Genesis Starliner from Crusader Industries. If you are new to Star Citizen anytime over the past 4 years, chances are you have never seen this ship. The Genesis Starliner was sold as concept in 2015 for a whopping $400. The price tag was high because this ship had a lot of promise. It had a lot of game loops. It had very unique game loops that had not existed and still do not exist in Star Citizen, which is one of the reasons why I feel this ship is so delayed. And I have a question to you, the viewer. If you are watching this, it is likely you do own a Genesis Starliner. And my question to you is this: would you be satisfied with this ship releasing without the promised game loops? Now, we'll get a look at the game loops in a second. But before we do, I want to take a look at how another game treats passenger transport. It's rather bare bones. And personally, I would be very satisfied if this type of system existed in Star Citizen right now. The game obviously we're referring to is one of the closest in the genre, and that is Elite Dangerous. In the screen here, we see the job board, and we see that 20 protesters are seeking transport. And this particular transport mission is going to be paying almost 5 million credits, which is very good for transport. Now, to get to this level of payment, you need to have a certain amount of reputation. This is something I believe will also exist in Star Citizen. The better you are, or the more efficient you are at flying and taking care of passengers, the better paying jobs you will get. We see the same thing happening in bounty missions at the moment, and this will translate very easily and will be done for transport missions also. In Elite Dangerous, you get the mission, your destination in this case is Demona, and off you go and load your passengers, in this particular case, to the economy cabins. In Star Citizen, for the Gemini Starliner, they have mentioned there will be different classes. You can have economy class, business, and super elite class. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but it will exist. Now, in Elite Dangerous, you simply increase the throttle and sit back for what might be a 10, 15, or 20-minute flight, with nothing to do except making sure that you remain on course. In Star Citizen, they are trying to spice this up a bit by giving you a whole bunch of mini-games to play while the flight is en route. Now, the two things holding the Genesis back from being developed is, 1, the mini-games involved in transportation, and 2, the design from Crusader Industries was not set. But now with the release of the Mercury Star Runner, we have the color palettes, the design palettes, the material palettes, everything Crusader needs to build the Genesis Starliner. And they can easily create the Starliner, well, not easily, but they can easily introduce the Starliner game mechanics by simply skipping over all the small game loops, mini games, and simply let people transport passengers much the same way that we transport cargo at the moment, giving the Genesis Starliner pilots finally something to do with their ship. So, taking a look now at the mini games promised and why I feel these can be looked over, but I also feel that maybe they were a bit overzealous in creating these games. My question to you guys will be, do you feel these are necessary, and how repeatable will these actions be? Beginning with the first one, which is called ISIS, an unfortunate name. Now, ISIS is an acronym for Information, Communication, and Entertainment System. It's the computer centerpiece of a passenger's flight. It allows them to do things like order food and drink and engage in various forms of entertainment. Every seat on a passenger transport flight is equipped with a holographic projector in the ceiling above and to the front that is tied to an ISIS blade in the hardware room of every ship. The problem is these blades fail. They sizzle out, smoke starts coming out. You have to run there with your multi-tool, zap your laser at them, and repair them. I think that'll be fun for the first 10, 15 times, but do you see yourself being able to do this 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, 2 years into the game? Will this little game loop be interesting or entertaining? Post below. I'm curious to know. I can tell you my answer. Well, I think you know my answer. Let's move on to the second minigame, which is the Mixmaster. Now, this suggestion of a little minigame had a lot of interesting discussion. Some people loved it. Some people thought it was ridiculous. I will not pass judgment on this. Post below, let me know what you think. The Mixmaster is essentially a mixing beverage machine, and it's going to give you options as to how you should mix a drink. For example, a formula such as 1148 would indicate that your passenger wants a beverage with 2 parts beverage 1, 1 part beverage 4, and 1 part beverage 8. Now, the quality of the drink is displayed in the Mixmaster, and depending on how well you did that, your passenger will then increase or decrease your reputation as a passenger transport. There'll be some customizations and upgrades. For example, if you are flying out to a very distant, unknown world and there's a very fancy bottle of spirits, you can take that and serve it to your passengers and they will like it because it is very unique and special. There's also a suggested medical diagnosis and treatment game loop where a passenger may be complaining that they are being sensitive to light. You will then have to be able to diagnose this as a migraine and administer some medication as a result. There's also potential for a cough and chest pains and shortness of breath. You have to diagnose whether there's some pandemic sweeping across or not and deal with it accordingly. Interesting. I can see perhaps medical crew being interested in playing that for the first hour, maybe the second hour. But how interesting will that be 6 months, 9 months, 12 months into the game? I don't know. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on this matter. To me, and I'm speaking just from my point of view, the elite dangerous model of simply picking up passengers as if it was cargo, transporting to the location, disembarking the passengers, is satisfying enough in that sense. Now, it might not be easy. There might be some difficult terrain to navigate. There might be pirates. There will be an easy route and a difficult route. The difficult route might be a lot faster. You get there faster, your passengers are happier. But if it takes longer, it is safer. But then the passengers complain it took you too long, affecting your reputation. This will encourage you to take on more risk and go through more pirate-infested areas. There's a lot of interesting gameplay we can have without the need for all these mini-games in the game itself. And I feel that if CIG wanted to, now that they have the design language down from Crusader, they could implement and get the Starliner in and transport passengers with a barebone system, which will make many, many Starliner owners extremely happy. If you enjoy this content, you know what to do. Subscribe, thumbs up, catch you in the next one.